Do you ever get so overwhelmed with everything you have to do in your life and your business that you just can't keep up? Well, I have some ideas to help you out. Let's talk about that today. Welcome to Allie on Life. Let's do this. I am so not organized, like so not. But I have learned a few tips and tricks that I've been recently implementing, and they're really helping me out a lot. So I wanted to share some of those with you. But first, I would love it if you have been enjoying these little chats that we're having, if you would subscribe to my channel, click the notification bell so that you get pinged when I have new videos, and also like this video and share it with your friends. So whether you struggle with organization like me, or you're one of those organization junkies who's just always looking for a new or different tool than what you've already got in your tool belt, I have some things to share with you. The first one is my bullet journal. Now, I have been really intrigued by the idea of a bullet journal for several years now. When I first heard about the idea, I was super excited and all in and thought, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I was looking at spreads on Pinterest and how-to videos, and then I thought, oh my goodness, look at all this. I don't have time to bullet journal. And let's be honest, the point of a bullet journal is to save you time and not cost you more time. So if your bullet journal is costing you a lot of time, maybe you really enjoy doing it, and that's great. But if the idea is to keep yourself on track with what you're doing, maybe you might want to simplify and pull back a little bit. So I'm going to share with you my very simple bullet journal right here. It says bullet journal. I wrote that myself with a pen. Now, if you do like to get artsy, I recommend getting a high quality journal to write in. There are some good brands. This is not one of them. This is just one that I bought at a craft store to try to practice my bullet journaling technique. So not a great brand, but it does the purpose for me right now. You can see it's not a great brand because the pen bled on the back of the page, and personally, I hate that. So I can't use my brush pens in this bullet journal, which makes me a little bit sad, but I will live. It's gonna be okay. The important elements of a bullet journal are very simple. You need an index where you number your pages, and then just keep track of what's on what page in the index. That way, whenever you need to go back and find, oh, what courses am I working on? What's my course log? Oh, it's on page 8 and 9. I can find it there. What I've been inspired to use my bullet journal for is a brain dump. This was the first thing I thought of. Actually, I didn't think of it. It was an idea that I got from Amy Landino. She has really great bullet journal stuff, and she has introduced me to a few other people who have as well through her videos. And so I will link some of those probably in the description on this video. I started with a brain dump, and that's because I love to do brain dumps. I do them all the time. Do you ever have that feeling where like there's just so much up there in your head and you have to get it out, right? Well, that is what a brain dump is for. So I use brain dumps every time I get that feeling. I think there's too much going on. I'm really overwhelmed. I got to get it all out. But you know what happens then? I lose them. That's right. Even on my handy dandy iPad, where I write them down with my little Apple Pencil and can search for them later, I still don't know where they went. So it's not so great. But if I keep it in my bullet journal, it's all there and I know where it is, which is great. So I started with that, and then from there, I wrote out some ideas. I did my course log, like I mentioned. This is my favorite part of this journal so far. I have space for a weekly reflection and weekly tasks, and also more ideas. It's kind of like a mini brain dump over here, so I can add more ideas to it all the time. I'm getting new ideas all the time, so I have to have somewhere to keep track of them, right? And then this way I can just add them at some point to my weekly task list. I kind of thought of that myself, although probably it was inspired by Matt Ragland. I think I'll link his video as well. So I do these every week on Sunday, just to get my head in the game, so I know what I need to do and what I've already taken care of. After a couple weeks of doing them, I started color coding. Because hey, what's the fun of having a bullet journal if you don't color code, right? So I have all of my tasks color coded by the different jobs that I'm working on. And then I have action plans for all of the different things that I'm working on right now. So for example, this is a content creation action plan. I have one for freelance writing, and my novel writing action plan is very simple. It's just write the novel. Yeah. I actually already planned out the whole novel, but I'm writing it now. So those are some things that I'm keeping in my bullet journal. I'm also gonna add a couple other things to this that I may talk about later. And in a way, I consider this a draft bullet journal, and I'm gonna get really serious about it next year, and get a better notebook and all of those things. But I wanted to make sure that I could get into the habit and keep doing it. That's a little trick that I have for myself because I'm a perfectionist at heart. I have worked through a lot of that, and sometimes I just get things done because they need to be done. But I thought if I have sort of a practice bullet journal, then it doesn't matter if it's perfect or not. It doesn't have to be all beautifully illustrated, and I can come up with things like color coding along the way. It doesn't have to be consistent from the beginning. The beauty of a bullet journal is that you can make it whatever you want. I like to have them in these little dotted notebooks, but you can do it in any notebook that you like. And as long as you have your logs, like my weekly reflection, weekly tasks and all that, you can do a daily log if you want. I do mine somewhere else, so I'll show you that in a minute. But you have your page numbers and you can keep track of things that way. It's really, really great. And you can do whatever you want with it, and that's fantastic. My second tool that I am incorporating right now is a daily planner. And I've never been good about following along with these. One of the reasons why I started doing a bullet journal was I hated the idea of a dated daily planner because I forget to use it. Being chronically disorganized, it kind of goes along with all that. But I thought I'd give it a try because one of my favorite people, Amy Landino, came out with a new planner, and so I just had to have it. This is the beautiful Good Morning, Good Life planner from Amy Landino, and it is a dated planner. For this week, here's all the things. Actually, that's last week. I haven't had a chance to start working on it yet this week. And by I haven't had a chance to, I mean I haven't remembered to yet. But that's okay, we can give ourselves a little bit of grace. So it has these nice weekly spaces. I've been doing a little sort of micro journaling in this section here where it's a hashtag grateful goodbye 2020. I just talk about one thing that I'm thankful for every day that I remember to do it. And that's another Amy Landino thing, but it's so great. So I've been incorporating that. There's a little space here for movement, mindfulness, mastery. She actually explains this whole planner in another video, so I don't want to go into all that. Mainly, I just love it for the fact, for this little area that I use for journaling, for the priorities that you can put, and there's only 3, which I think is really great because I've been a 6 most important things person for a really long time, but I never get all 6 done, and I feel really bad about that. So with there being 3, that seems much more doable for me. And then it asks you when you woke up, when you went to bed, and there's another little space there for whatever you want to use it for. I just think it's great. These are really, really cool. They're limited edition, so you may not be able to get them anymore, but I did because I'm awesome. She actually has another one available on Amazon.com that has the same kind of things. It's just undated and, you know, not as fancy, but still works just great. So that's a possibility as well. Or you can use whatever daily planner that you use. You can use your phone or electronic device. You can use a paper planner. I'm trying this out, so I will let you know how it goes. My third tool or tip or trick is called calendar blocking. And again, this comes from Amy Landino. A lot of my best stuff comes from her because she is amazing in the productivity, time management, morning routine space. Definitely check her out if you're into that kind of thing because she's got a lot there and it's really good. She has a couple of videos on calendar blocking and time batching that really just blew my mind and changed my life. And when I started implementing those things, man, what a difference it made. So I suggest giving that a try because it's pretty great. All I do is I sit down in front of my computer. This is a computer task that I do. You fill out your calendar. It can be your Google Calendar. I use my Apple Calendar because I'm an Apple person. And I just color code all the different things that I'm doing and put them in blocks so that they're all blocked out. And the great thing is, even though my schedule does not look the same all the time, it's fairly consistent. So I have everything set up so that it repeats, and all I have to do every week is go in and make changes based on appointments and different things that I have on my schedule. Makes it a lot easier for me to plan out my week, which again, for someone who's not naturally organized, is a good thing. If you have any questions about how I handle that, please put those in the comments because sometimes I feel like I have a good idea of how I'm doing things, but I'm not explaining it very well. So if I need to make another video and maybe show something on my screen about how I do that, totally happy to do that. Just let me know. And my last tool is your phone. We all have phones these days, right? And they can do a lot. A smartphone sure can. It can remind you of pretty much anything in your life. In fact, it can remind you of so many things all the time that you have notifications going off every single minute all day long. And who needs that? No one needs that. Don't do that to yourself. Please don't. But you can use your phone as a tool to help you stay on track and remember things. So all of that calendar blocking that I do and the pre-planning that I do on Sundays to plan out my week, I have reminders in my phone to remind me to do things that I would otherwise forget to do. And that can be any number of things, including take a shower, eat lunch, and do my work. You would think that I could remember those things on my own, and yet somehow I don't. In fact, one of the reasons why I haven't been using my daily planner consistently is because I don't have a reminder in my phone yet for that. And so I'm gonna put that in there and let you know how that goes later on. I also use my phone as a timer. You can get a kitchen timer if you already have one. Those work great because then it doesn't ping you with anything else while you're trying to work on something. But timers can be super helpful for doing tasks that you don't want to do but need to focus on for a certain amount of time, or tasks that you get so focused on that you forget to do anything else and need a reminder to stop doing those things. Timers are great. They're a super, super awesome productivity hack that lots of people teach, and they are fantastic. If you haven't set timers for yourself to do things, you should really try that because it is great. So you've got timers, you've got notifications, and you have alarms. But if you have all of those things going off all the time, it gets really distracting. So I would sit down with your phone, have a real good conversation with that thing, and figure out what kinds of things you really need to be notified about. Do you need to be notified every time you get an email? Do you need to be notified for every single social media action that gets taken on your account? Probably not. Do you need to be notified for all of those games that you're playing when you should be working instead? I know you do it because I do. So manage your notifications and make sure your phone isn't ruling your life, but that you are using your phone as a tool as it was meant to be. Those are the 4 main tools that I'm using right now, and I hope that you got inspired by at least one of them. If you did, let me know in the comments which one of those you think you might like to try, or one that you've been using consistently that you really like. If you have any suggestions for me, because as we already discussed, I am not an organized person and I need all the help I can get. And I would love to look at all of that and interact with you in the comments. And of course, as always, like, subscribe, get notified, go to my website, AllisonDuke.com, and sign up for my email list so that you get all the updates and notifications that you could possibly want from me. Thank you so much for watching. Next time, we will talk about what happens when you have your strategy, you have your tools, you're doing the work, and it's not working out like you were hoping it would. What happens then? How do you strategize? How do you pivot? We're gonna talk about that in the next video, so stay tuned for that, and I will see you then.